I'm Isabel.
And I'm Tamera.
And it has been a little bit. It hasn't been that long, but I don't think we've done like a vlog or like a talking video outside of our podcast in like maybe 2 or 3 months. Which, by the way, we do have a podcast if you are interested in that. It's called Mutual Minds Pod. That's been really fun to do, but I do miss giving you guys like some life stuff happening and like doing our daily vlogs, which most of you guys have subscribed to this channel for, and I want to apologize for kind of being off-putting on that. So that's why we wanted to do a life update video to let you guys know just kind of what's going on, just letting you know like what's been happening, because there has been so much that has happened, and some of it we've like explained a little bit in previous vlogs, but I just want to dive in for here and just talk about everything. For anyone that's new, we lived in New York City for 2 years, and we recently just moved to Austin, Texas in the end of April. So now it's October, so we've been here for like 5 months now. And obviously, being from Manhattan and going to Austin, Texas, it is 2 different worlds. And I think that hit us very quickly. Our life in Manhattan was so fast between working and just being young. That was our first apartment ever living together. That was super exciting. We felt super exhilarated and young and free, and we're running around. Our social media was doing fantastic, so we were getting invited to events, and there was just so much happening. And I feel like because there was so much happening, we were kind of neglecting certain things in our life, where now that life is slower, I feel like things are like coming up that like maybe were there in Manhattan, but since life was just so fast, like it was just like, oh well, I can deal with that later. And now it's like, whew. Hey, here's to adulting.
We moved here, things were fine, and then I think after the first few months, the change and adjusting started to hit us more.
Yes.
I think like when you first initially do something so big, it's like exciting, and like you're like, wow, this is what I was waiting for. Because like the last year of New York, we were so waiting for this, and we were so like,
the apartment, the nice weather, having
nature.
a car again. There was a lot of like high expectations, and they were all like succeeded by all means, but at the same time it was like, okay, like I have all this stuff that I wanted so bad, but why am I still feeling kind of empty at the same time? Because in New York we didn't really have much. Like you just had like all these experiences and friendships and stuff, but like here we have like the materialistic things, like basically in a nice apartment and a car and whatever, but like you can have materialistic things but still feel empty emotionally. And I think that's what we were struggling with, because that's a really hard thing to battle with, because we didn't have much in New York and daily life was so hard, like just doing like laundry and stuff. And now it's so easy to do that here, but there's still a part of us that was struggling.
I think that was confusing, because we were like, how are we like the same mentally as we were in New York, but life is so much simpler and easier here. But I think we just need to go through the motions of the fact that we did just move across the country.
Yes.
And whether like we gained or lost, like that's just a big life change in general. I feel like we didn't give ourselves enough time to just like let that sink in, and we were just like, like what is going on next? And like here in Texas, like people are very laid back. Like I would say Austin is kind of like it's like a driven city. I feel like there's a lot of young people that are striving for different things, but like not like in New York, where it's like New York, like that's all people have because things are so expensive, and like you're trying to make it to the top because the bottom is so low, I think, and so there's more pressure. But here people can like be working on things, but like they're still enjoying life, they're relaxed, and we really like that about the city. Like I do think sometimes in New York, like even if we weren't like go go go, we still, you feel it in the energy, and like sometimes that makes you feel bad about yourself, like what am I doing, and like should I be starting a business and all this stuff. But I think like we didn't give ourselves enough time to just like grieve the fact that we moved across the country, and that really affected us, I think, the past few months.
It's really hard to make a move that far. I personally have never even moved from New York ever. You don't even think about the little things of like moving, like getting the car, sending the car here. That was a whole situation.
Not even a little thing. That was a lot.
That was really expensive. Registering the car. You need like very important documents and stuff. Registering the car, getting an inspection. Like there's so many little things that you don't even think about. Tamera's car is not that old, but there were just so many things that were going wrong, and we spent so much of our savings on it.
When you don't feel like financially stable, like you don't have your basic needs met. Like,
and then it's hard to have a healthy relationship because of that.
So everything was just kind of going downhill. Like things were fine. They really were at the beginning, but then the car problems my car had, and like she said, my car it's a 2009, so it's like old, but it's not that
There's
old.
people
like,
driving cars in like 1990s.
And she only has 130,000 miles on her, so she's like not in bad shape, but she just kept having these problems happen, and we probably spent like
very expensive. At least 4,000
probably
altogether,
and that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
When you just moved across the country, but also just in general.
It's a lot. And like we were doing social media full time, but like we were even saying like even if we had like regular full-time jobs, like I wouldn't have wanted to spend $4,000 of the money I worked so hard on for a vehicle that's not even worth that much. That I think made it hard for us to make content, and I think now we're kind of in a strange world with social media just because like we needed to take a few breaks because it just felt so heavy, and like because life felt so heavy for us, there wasn't much like happy things that we felt like we could vlog and like show you guys, because we don't want to make vlogs where we're just complaining every week. Like I think it's good to like show like the hardships here and there, but like I don't want this channel to just be like depressing and negative and like we're just like complaining about everything. So I felt like it was good for us to like take a step back and just focus on like when we feel good, we'll post a TikTok. When we feel good, we'll post a podcast or a YouTube video or whatever. But, like push it too far, because I feel like you can always tell when someone is like trying to post a video just to post a video. It doesn't feel good to edit it, and it doesn't feel good for you to watch somebody that like clearly is not happy.
I personally really enjoy like creators who share moments like that aren't great, because that's what makes people feel like, okay, they go through things too, it's not just me feeling like this right now. But I think like it was bigger than that, because like I actually fell like into a depression, and so I just wasn't even able, or I didn't feel able to like make videos or be in videos too much.
That was like the last thing on our list.
I felt like guilty to take a break, and then I think because so much was hitting the fan and we were trying to do social media full time, I think I started to resent social media, because I was like, this isn't like, why isn't this happening for us? A lot of people who are able to like still like work a job and create content, or just in general creating content and like filming themselves in that state, because like that's something that I just feel like I can't do anything, and I just don't care about anything when I'm like that, so I just like don't even care to like even try to make a video. And it sucks, because then we end up getting like behind on things, and then we whatever. But we also have never taken a break from this, ever. Like maybe it would take one day off of not posting on Instagram, but like the past 4 years we've pretty much been nonstop doing this, so I really do think that like a break was kind of needed.
I agree.
And I don't think like the content would have been good, or I would have hated it more, I think, if we forced it, because now in like the last few weeks I feel like I'm coming back into myself, and I think a lot of this had to do with, if you watch our podcast on Wednesday, we talk about seasons and seasons changing, but I think the weather in Texas, I thought I would love the hot, the heat, the sun, all of that. I love the sun, but I didn't think it would be so rough to the point where we wouldn't go outside much, and I think that caused a big part of depression too, was like my car, I spent like $4,000. I didn't even have money to go anywhere and do anything. And then even if I went outside, it's so hot that it's just not enjoyable. So that caused us to just kind of stay cooped up, and then we weren't working. So we just were like sitting here all day, every day, and like that is so many hours that we could have been making content, but like
all you're doing is just thinking. When you're not working, like your mind is just literally racing.
Yeah. We both did land full-time jobs, so that's exciting.
We recognize that we actually do social media so much better when we do have full-time jobs, or just a job in general that's not like putting yourself out there for money. It feels so, it's like literally like selling your soul basically. Like you are literally putting your like mental health and like everything on the line.
Like in a way, being an influencer is literally like dangling yourself in front of people and like trying to like entertain them. And
all
then
the
if they're
time.
not, then like your video doesn't get views and then you don't get any money, and then it just didn't feel good to live in that cycle of like at first when we moved to, we were putting so much energy and time into making these videos, and we were posting so many times a day. Not like see anything in return like you do with the traditional job. Like you know, like no matter how good or bad you did at that week of your job, like you're getting money. I didn't have money to pay rent, you know? I mean, like I did, but like every month that was slowly going away with every time we paid rent, and I wasn't making any income from social media. Like we did like a couple of things like 1 month, but then
you start like selling yourself basically to like do more than the average you would do so that something can make you money for this or that. Then we started to do DoorDash. It was just like an era. A lot of our relationship, we've always been like in retail jobs or like something with such crazy hours where we would never see each other, or it would just feel like we barely ever had like a weekend together. And it feels so nice to like, she gets off at 5, I get off at 5:30, and like we just have the whole night together and then the whole weekend.
When you don't have your basic necessities met, like you don't know if you should buy this little dessert and add that to your grocery cart because you need just to get what you need.
And you're not going to be on TikTok making little videos. You're going to be in survival mode.
Yes, that's exactly what we were in, was survival mode. That is literally the word for it. And so I think like that's when I started to get depressed, because I was like, oh my god, I want this to work, but like it's not working. And now rent is coming up, and it's coming up every month, and every month passes,
and then it becomes less fun. So amazing that we still have this platform and community with you guys, where you guys actually like still are liking and commenting on our stuff. And like that sounds so stupid, but like literally like you liking and commenting on things and like subscribing to us is literally helping us live a life to even be able to make these videos for you, to buy cameras like this for us to post on our YouTube, like just because you clicked one button. And it like really does go so far, because that's what brands care about. They care about engagement, but like you can't have engagement without people watching your videos and supporting. So thank you so much for, you know, following us and like actually taking the time to like things and comment, because a lot of people like things, like they like a video, but they don't actually click the like, so that doesn't help with the brand deal. Like you're like, oh, that was a cute video, but then you keep scrolling. But like when you actually like follow somebody, that goes so far. So thank you, because this has been a long journey, and I think that we are just growing up as people, but I think this is always going to be a part of our life in one way or another. Because I think it's fun for us. I think we just needed to try that out and realize that it's not for right now, at least, and to try these new jobs out, and that's been going okay. What have you liked so far about Austin?
So again, like the summertime was rough. Like we were kind of just cooped up inside, and that's not how I expected it to be. Like I thought like I love summer, but it was really like 110 degrees sometimes. So we were kind of just inside a lot, and I think that's what also, again, was like a part of why I was like really sad all summer. But now that like it's getting cooler, like we've been outside so much more already. Like we've been going like just walking around like the Domain. Like you don't have to buy anything, but like it's so cute there. It just like feels like you're in a different little city. The weather has been nice.
Thrifting. Went to a pumpkin patch yesterday. That was really cute and fun. Just driving around, trying some coffee shops. It's been really nice. Like Austin is such an outdoorsy city, and I think that's also why we really loved it. Because there's so many outdoor activities here. There's the lake, there's ACL that just happened this weekend.
It just like felt, no offense, but it felt cooler than like Dallas, because it is a little bit like edgy here, and Dallas is, I feel like, more like businessy, prestigious.
But I also like that Austin is a lot smaller. We went to Dallas and I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It just felt so big, which sounds so crazy coming from New York City, but like I was like so overwhelmed.
We've thought about Dallas like over the years off and on, and like comparing it to Austin. Like we've always thought about moving to Texas actually. This is not like a weird random place for us, but we were going back and forth a lot, like randomly with Dallas and Austin, because Dallas is definitely cheaper, or there's a little bit cheaper options. Austin is kind of expensive. But after going to Dallas, I hadn't been there since I was like in high school, so I was like, yeah, this is like really big. And we were leaving New York because we did want to have like a little bit of a slower life, and Dallas kind of felt like New York.
It felt like
a little bit.
Literally. I also like that Austin is a little bit more tropical world, like more palm trees, more like grassy, like country vibe.
And there's like, I can't call them mountains, but it's very hilly in Austin, and I love that because it feels like you're in the, like when we were in we stayed at the Utopia, that vlog, like that felt like we were in the mountains, even though it's kind of just hills.
What's something you don't like about Austin? I guess I would say like the heat. Like I said, the heat was just absolutely unbearable.
We have thoughts about like moving downtown. I think we just really wanted to just like be in nothingness after New York, so this has been really nice, but I think that's also contributed to us feeling like, what are we doing? Because like there's not a lot going on where we are, so we have thought about moving downtown, and we'll see. I don't know.
It doesn't feel like needed, but I definitely feel like when I'm like, okay, let's do something, most of those things are downtown.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I might as well just live downtown. I think also being on the outskirts has so many perks to it as well.
Yeah, like our day-to-day is so simple. Like,
so simple.
The grocery store, like you just go there and then you come back.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go get food, you just go there, and like there's no traffic.
And also being on the outskirts, like groceries are so much cheaper than if you live in a metropolitan area.
Gas is so much cheaper where we are. I think because of our car issues, there was a moment where we were like, maybe we should go back to New York. I miss New York. We'd have to drive there, and like life was so much fun. We were outside all the time. We like we should be doing more. We were outside more in New York, but like, did we always want to be outside in New York? I don't think we did.
No,
I think
it was
just
had to, literally, or you were so depressed that was the only thing that would get you out of the depression, because life is so difficult there.
Yeah.
Which, when you put it in that perspective, it's like, oh yeah, wow, that's not really.
A lot of the times, like, I think a lot of the times for me at least, New York was like, it made me feel so cool.
Yeah.
Like I did feel cool that I was able to live there, and that like I was somehow making a living being
But you also didn't feel cool.
But I felt
because you would go to events
horrible.
and you just were like, holy shit.
And that was the thing too, is like Austin, like they actually have a lot of influencer events, more than you would think for it being Texas, but it's obviously not going to be compared to New York. And I think that was the thing too, where we were like, if we want to do this still a little bit, like that feels good to like be recognized and be like included in those things. But half the time at events in New York, I was so anxious.
I think we just really struggled with how different the lifestyle is, because our life was just so fast in New York, and I felt like because it was so fast and there was so much happening, so many opportunities happening for us, like big opportunities that I felt like we would never get anywhere else, that made it so much easier for me to edit a vlog and like be so excited to like edit something, versus here where my life is just pretty regular, and like for some reason I feel like that's not entertaining to watch and it's not entertaining to edit, but at the same time I'm like, well, this is more relatable than anything that we've ever vlogged in New York. because most people are living a life like this where you work 9 to 5 and then you make dinner with your significant other and then you go to bed. But like to me, I'm like, oh, that's not interesting. Like no one's gonna want to watch that. But like, it's nice to see people with like a platform that are living the same life as you, and like people value that. And I think now the industry has changed so much where there's.
I think people hate influencers.
I think they hate them, and I think there's a select portion of people that actually want people that are relatable. Like I feel like even for me, I have a select few people that are like super rich and bougie, and I follow them just for the entertainment because I'm like, well, I'm never gonna live that life, so I want to like watch people like travel and like buy a house and another house and another car, and like that's just fascinating to me because I'm never going to live that life. So like I watch those people, but then I also want to watch some lady like in like the middle of Canada, like that girl in that beautiful house with the windows, and she's like in the middle of Canada and there's like mountains and snow, and
Or
I'm like, oh, that's so
like,
fascinating. And then like some girl in like Milwaukee and
I don't know, well, to the same, like, this is so specific, but I'm still, like, so fascinated with, like, New York City and, like, the history of it and stuff, and, like, there's this lady I watch on TikTok who lives in NYCHA housing, like, project building, and, like, watching her daily life, it's so
very fascinating.
Interesting, because it's not the same thing over and over, like, rich people doing this, and, like, going shopping, and, like, going to an event and stuff. It's, like, real life, and, like, she's trying to take care of her daughter.
But it's also like powerful and inspirational to see a mother still finding purpose in beauty in life, who's literally struggling and at like the bottom of the poverty line, still posting on her TikTok every day after work, and like,
I think
that's really interesting.
I think a big part of why I started resenting social media is because of like the flashiness, like because that has never been my life. Like I grew up more so like the girl in NYCHA, and so like those kind of videos are very relatable to me, and they make me feel like more like I'm equal to someone versus always feeling less than people. And that doesn't feel good for anybody. I think we all should consume social media a little bit less.
There is beauty in showing mundane, regular, boring life, because that's what we like.
And truthfully, even if we were ever rich, like we would be doing this too. Last few months have just been like a hump of like weird feelings, depression. What are we doing?
Life changes. We're 25, 26 now, so life in general is changing. The older you get, like things become a little bit more serious and a little less fun and spontaneous. And silly. You can still have those things, but I think you have to be more like purposeful of your thinking of everything, because it's going to affect you the older you get. So I think we're just like in a transitional period, but I really do want to like get back into our vlogs, or like every month like having like a sit down chat with you guys and like doing this and like keeping updates with you guys, because we always like watch our old videos back, and like I love to hear like what we talked about like a year ago, like what I thought my life would be like, and it was completely different. And I think there's so much value in like long form content like this, because we can watch these things back and be like, oh my god, a year ago we lived in Austin and now we live somewhere else, or like we just bought a house in Austin or something like that, and like you can just like look back at all these moments. And we love making videos for you guys. I think we just want to do it in the healthiest way possible. But yeah, I think this move was perfect for us. I think it was good for our mental health, and I think we're slowly coming back into ourselves, and I think before you know it, I think we'll be back in our regular like YouTube content world outside of the podcast.
Just needed to process everything and like
just take some time.
For a second was like I never want to log into TikTok ever again, but now that I've processed a lot of different emotions in the move, and like growing up a little bit and getting a new job and stuff, I think I feel more relaxed now that I've processed those things, and now I'm like excited to do content, and I haven't felt that since we moved here.
I do think that sometimes this can be a little bit strenuous on a relationship, and I think it's important to put money and put like creativity and all of that aside to like be there for your relationship, because outside of that, all we have is our relationship, and that's more important than any business move or anything that we could ever do, because we are real people that love each other and are just trying to share our love with you guys. But like, this is like very important to us, and that's always been like a promise that we made to each other from the start of this.
But we're so good. We just like weren't agreeing on anything, and like we both felt so confused in the move that like we just like felt really weird, and we didn't know what to talk about, and we weren't working, so we just had every day together, and that's not good for
no new experiences,
any relationship. But we're feeling so much better now, and again, like you said, we were never like nearing a breakup. We just needed some like time to like focus on our relationship, because we were so focused on this and like making this work.
But you can't really make cute videos if you're literally bickering all day.
Or stressed.
You can totally see through that. So I want things to feel real and to feel authentic. But yeah, that's really all we had to say. I just want to like give you guys a little life update on everything that's been going on. But I want to say thank you guys so much. You guys have always been so patient with us, no matter what type of shit we've been going through. And I really like appreciate that, because there's a lot of people that just like unfollow because there are people that they follow like don't post for a day or two, and they're just like, ugh, these creators are horrible. But you guys have always stuck with us, so I really want to say thank you. And yeah, I think we're gonna be in a better spot now. I love you guys so much, and if you want to follow us on anything else, if you're new here, we have TikTok, YouTube, we have a new podcast. We're kind of on everything, Instagram, what you name it. I'll put everything down in the description, and yeah, love you guys.
Love you guys so much. You can always DM us too if you have any updates or comment, because this is not just a life update of us. We want to hear what you guys have been up to too. So.
Yeah, love you guys.
Thanks for watching.